with the end of June, we close out financial year 2024 and welcome in a new financial year, as well as more reform changes ahead, and hopefully a final task force report. Now, the sector continued to move sideways throughout June, with ADS setting in over the 269 a day mark, and regional facilities and specialized homeless facility types had a welcome increase, up both around $1. Well, total claimant activity dropped significantly across June, with AMOs appearing to struggle with keeping up with the resident classification needs that providers are putting on them. The typical assessment outcome of approximately 7% of all residents in the Medicare system is the band in which the AMOs perform each month. Now, the industry finished the month with only 4.3% of total classifications being completed by the AMOs, which is at the lower performance of that band. Now, whether that was due to winter outbreaks, end-of-year provider activities, AMO resourcing challenges, time will only tell as the department issues their AMO performance dashboards. Now, the age of ANAC claims in Medicare continued to slide across June, now sitting at the lower band of this data point. 43% of claims in Medicare now represent a resident's care needs, which was assessed over 12 months ago in age. Which begs the question, how confident are providers' funding teams when determining some of the reclassification opportunities outside of the easier ANAC classes which they have to determine? Well, occupied bed days for providers remained stable throughout June, finishing the month nearly flat, with the sector continuing to hover around the 88% of occupied beds. Now, the specialized homeless facility types, many group homes as well, appear to continue to have their occupancy levels in the 90%. Now, short-term stays for residents also remain constant, around 20%, which is the band in which we typically see short-term stays fluctuating. However, throughout the winter period, it does not appear that there's been much of an impact to these results so far. And the stability with the occupied bed results were supported by a continued balance of both permanent admissions and respite resident intakes. And the profile of a residential aged care admission was a slightly younger 85-year-old resident. Now, direct care minutes slid slightly across June, but it showed evidence that with only 4 months before the sector's average care minute requirement jumps to 215 minutes in direct care, providers are certainly trending in the right direction. Now, even though the RN minutes appear to be an easier gap to meet by this October, achieving that new 44-minute industry average will be a much harder task to achieve. Now, especially following the department's update on the care time assessment audit findings and the time that is now being omitted by those personnel across the country from those audits.